Welcome to the Nerd Party.
I'm Darren Moser.
I'm Philip Gilfus.
I'm Daniel Prue.
And this is City Alpha 3.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to SETI Alpha 3, a Star Trek podcast here on the Nerd Party. I'm your host, Daniel Prue, and with me, as always, are my two buddies, Darren and Philip. Now, Philip, you are I would say, not even knee-deep, not even waist-deep, but it seems shoulder or elbow or maybe neck-deep in your TNG Season 1 rewatch, because it seems like every day in our chat, you're going through, giving us a little bit of thoughts here and there. So
he's just reminding us how far we have not progressed in our own Season 1 chat. That is why he's telling us.
A little bit. Yeah.
Well, see, it's funny you say that, because ironically, I've had the exact opposite thought. Because I'm like, okay. And I'm like, so what episode am I on? Like 9 out of... 26 or something? I'm like, this is going to be forever. Oh.
See, that's why we're standing still, so that you can run.
No, I mean, saying that, I mean, I'll say this, and this is a personal opinion. I mean, there's not been an episode yet, even the, early ones, like the Code of Honor. I haven't gotten Angel 1 yet, so maybe I'll change my tune when I get there. But it's not been like an episode like, I'm just going to watch this because it's in the order. I've gotten something new every time, and maybe obviously it's because I'm a die-in-the-wool TNG extremist, but it's just like, there's always something new. There's always, I don't remember that,
I think a big key to a good rewatch is having enough time have passed that it's not that you've forgotten the episode, but there's a lot of remembering going on of like, this is cool. Geordi's still in red. Oh, look how many times they put him in the center seat, or just little things like that are fun to rediscover.
Yeah, and I'm sure I've watched it in its current quality before. I'm watching it on Netflix UK. But it does really pop, like, because you think of like, Season 1 in my mind is like the SD. And it's like doesn't look. I'm like, it's it's HD, whatever it is. But it's like even the Season 1 uniforms, which I usually think are so old looking, I'm like, you know what? I mean, I like the other ones better, but I'm like, they're growing on me. They're not that bad,
Yeah, I mean, you see why they put the little pinstriping, like it's got that, no collars, like they're not bad uniforms. The fact that when they evolved with the collars and the
sweatshirt,
the little bit of change, the fact that it was just a tweak, it wasn't like we're going to reinvent the uniform, this isn't working, like it wasn't that.
And I'll stop talking because I realize it's just my turn, but it did make me think, because of the battle, which we can talk about another time, but for the flashback for the battle, this is Picard flashbacking to his Stargazer time. Those folks are wearing that uniform now. 5 years later, would they make a different decision? But it made me think, like, as TNG watchers, if you're watching this for the first time, you think, these are new uniforms. What if they're really old uniforms and that's why they changed them? Like, what if Starfleet's been wearing that spandex for like 10 years or 15 years? Because it's like the only thing we have at a certain standpoint is like the Jack Crusher holodeck from, without getting into the timeline, but I think that's about, 10, 15 years ago, we could say maybe. But anyway.
Yeah, and you mentioned that when you were talking about the battle of how Beverly isn't fazed by it. Although it's never established, like, Jack Crusher doesn't die in the Battle of Maxia. Like, so I always got the impression that he died a couple of years at least before, and sometime between his death and the Battle of Maxia, which is the last battle of the Stargazer, and when it is lost, that's when they change from the no fuzzy collar, the Wrath of Khan Monster Maroons to the TNG Season 1's costumes.
Well, we know. We'd have to do some math, but we can know Wesley, right? So it has to be 15 years prior to episode 1.
Well,
right. So the question is, between 15 years ago,
he's wearing the Season 1 uniform.
Right.
Oh, I see. So the recording was Yeah, that's true because it's the recording. Yeah,
But in the Jack Crusher recording, he's wearing the maroons.
Right. But like you're saying, Philip, the flashback of bringing Jack's body home, Picard is not in a monster maroon, which means Jack wouldn't be in a monster maroon at that time.
Because Wes could have been
but the recording could have taken place when he was born.
Earlier.
It's true.
It sounds like he made it when he was born, just in case. Like, he's in Starfleet. Starfleet's dangerous, And
O'Brien does that too. We know that canonically, O'Brien makes letters every time he goes on an away mission. I remember that from a Deep Space.
So does Lieutenant Reed, I believe, right?
Oh, really? Oh, does he? For a sister or something? Is that right?
I can't remember.
I think
just remember
so.
Shuttleput 1 or something.
All right, well, Darren, I know you are probably still on the very beginning of Where No Man Has Gone Before.
Oh, he's skipping, isn't he?
Before. Oh, that's right. You're hopping around.
I skipped around a little bit, but it's not that I'm not actively rewatching, because I'm not actively rewatching TNG, but I have other things on my plate to fill in.
Raising children.
I still haven't found a good amount of time to sit down and watch the latest season of For All Mankind, a show I love, but I just want to get in that mode of like, it's more like I'm worried that once I start it, like that's the next 10 hours of my life, because that's what I did, I think, in the previous season, where I'm like, I'll watch a few, and it never works like that. I'm always like up till 3 finishing it, and that's not good.
And then Daniel, how are you dealing with another 21st century Star Trek show to end its run? How's that?
I see what you did. That's a good segue there. Sorry, I was distracted because I looked up Jack Crusher picture, Google picture, and it just makes me mad because I'm so mad she named that character Jack Crusher, and so it makes me so upset. It bothers me so much. Anyways, yes, Philip. Let's keep the 90s Trek times rolling, although technically what we're about to do, this exercise would have been bringing new 90s Trek into the millennium, but we'll talk about that. I was thinking after Deep Space Nine ended, let's pause it. Let's come up with another show that would take place at that time, be produced at that time, that would take place in the same. It would overlap with Voyager, just like Deep Space Nine did.
So 2370s. It's not so much going into the new millennium, but it's still
right. Sorry,
right in that time,
in our time,
in present time.
Yes, in present time. But it would be a quote unquote modern Trek production at the time that would take place, and it would take place right after Deep Space Nine season 7. So it would be the season 5 of Voyager. And it would go for 7 seasons. Let's just say whatever. So what would we want that to look like? And how would we want this show to go? And let's just start there, because I have some other ideas that we could shoot off of if we kind of stumble. But let me just see if you guys, like, any big picture things. Would you want it to be a Deep Space Nine sequel show? Or would you want to do another quadrant? But again, this is concurrent with Voyager.
Discover our 5th quadrant, quadrant.
We've got to consider that it's concurrent with Voyager. And so what would you guys want to have seen? Would you want to have seen another sort of subversion of expectation, like with Deep Space Nine, or maybe a back to basics, like something with Voyager? Just throw some ideas out there. If you don't have any, that's fine. I have a couple, but I thought maybe we'd start there. Big concept thing.
As you were talking, this idea came in my head, which is probably not original, but often Star Trek will do not a backdoor pilot, but a setting of the table. So, for instance, Next Generation, we had Ensign Ro. We had, what's the Cardassian episode? Anyway, the really good one with the Phoenix. Can't remember the name off the top of my head. But that was sort of setting the table. So then when DS9 started, it wasn't like, who are the Maquis, who are Cardassians, who are Bajorans, Voyager didn't really need that per se. Other than the Maquis story, semi-continued in DS9, so that was a little more established. But, Voyager was, you really didn't need to know much. It's Star Trek. Nothing new as far as,
But the fact that by the time you got to DS9, you knew you'd met Cardassians, you'd met Bajorans. It wasn't like two brand new races. We didn't know a lot about them, but they weren't brand new.
And so what immediately popped in my head as you were talking, because again, DS9's over, Voyager's on. If only there was some sort of Voyager episode that already could be a backdoor pilot. And it happens to be right here on my table here without breaking anything.
Not the
and that is the
dinosaur one.
USS Prometheus.
Okay.
Oh, I thought you were going to say Equinox. I'm like, I don't.
Because, and I'm not saying you have to do this, but there's an arbitrary rule I'm putting out, which you can erase, of like there can only be 1 or 0 reoccurring characters. You know, but I mean, because, you know, we could do sequels, which we've done before, but I think you have to like rein it. Bob Picardo could do 2 roles. I mean, or Andy Dick, if he could rein it in for, you know, a couple of years, he could be the EMH. But anyway, but as far as we've established the ship, now the crew's dead or whatever, so we can do a whole new crew. But we've at least established the ship, and so.
Well, and I like the fact that you could make it with a small tweak to that episode, that a copy was left of the EMH. So, and I mean, that doesn't stop anything that happens in Voyager. Voyager continues on. There's no more micro wormhole or whatever, you know.
I mean, whatever. I have the copy of the Doctor from the Future episode, if you remember that. The War Crime episode.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, that's right. So, this is the Alpha Quadrant copy of our EMH friend, and then they become the continuing character. And like you said, like, I'm sure we'll have Andy Dick for a little while. I don't know if he's going to be running the entire length, but
the word cancel culture hadn't been invented in the 90s. They're just throwing that word out there, and we'll leave it at that.
All right. Okay. I like it. I'm gonna just go over to Darren now. Darren, do you have any concepts or ideas that you want to go over? Because I do have one that I want to bring up.
And does it rhyme with Macadamy?
We have. So we could do the Academy show. We could because people seem to want it for whatever reason. But I assume all of us would want to leave that concept behind. But do you have any? It seems like Philip wants to do traditional Starship.
Philip wants to go back and
he wants to
do something new.
Just Star Trek again.
Well, it's interesting because I was trying to think, you know, of what to do, and I mean it's hard, guys, because like, you know, starting from scratch. But the constraint or direction I kind of gave myself was okay. I started to think about the sets because remember TNG sets transitioned into Voyager. So like the warp core was basically rebuilt in the exact same spot. The curve of the hallway. Like, yeah, obviously a lot of things changed, but the bones, the skeleton of the ship, of the set is pretty much the same. So I started to think, okay, well, DS9 is going off the air. What if we semi-tailored our story around maybe like a starbase or something else that like obviously we're drastically modifying the promenade, but the fact is we have the basic promenade structure. We have the op structure. We have a lot that's already been built. So it's cheaper and easier to I'm not talking reskin, like, you know, slow a bit of paint. Like we have to tear down that Cardassian fascist eyesore. But I mean, obviously, eagle-eyed viewers would be like, "Oh, this is obviously the promenade." Like we could tell you changed, you know, a bit. But it made me start thinking of like
we changed the windows this way.
Yeah, you turn them make them square instead of
they look like eyelids now.
But all that to say, I thought it would be really cool if we did something. I mean, I know we just had a station show at that point, but you could do like Spacedock 1. Where you're literally like, I know the whole point is exploring, and I'm sure we would explore at some point, but I'm kind of interested like Star Trek Earth or like Star Trek Spacedock, like set again, not, you could dabble into the Academy and stuff like that, but that's not the focus. Like the main focus is we are
Satellite
at the heart
campus. No.
we're at the heart of the Federation. Like, we never spend a ton of time, but whenever we do spend time on Earth, it's really interesting. We have things like Paradise Lost and Homefront. We have things like Star Trek V. Like, every time we go to Earth, it's really cool, but we never have and I get the point of that as going on and exploring. Right? Is that what I said?
You said 5. I was trying to figure out how
yes,
rock monster showed up on Earth.
Put an I in front of that V.
Oh, no, you're right. You're right. He was climbing the rock. That was an Earth. You're right.
True. That's totally what I was meant.
You're like the first 5 minutes and the last 5 minutes. Greatest part, guys.
Now, here's the thing. Darren, you and I have stumbled, I think, into the same thing. This is what I'm thinking. I was actually thinking of a title... maybe then we can tweak it. Starfleet Command, and it takes place on Earth.
That's way better than Star Trek Spacedock. That's what I was thinking.
You did say Star Trek Earth, which would be really funny.
Yeah, Earth. I don't think that's gonna fly, but like it's dumb, but it's better.
I like how Darren is like, guys, all right, we're gonna retweak. It's not like Deep Space Nine. It's Stardock 1. You see, it's a different number.
It's even worse.
It's a different way to call the space station.
Okay.
Completely
of those
different.
3, Earth, Spacedock, Starfleet Command is way better title. Okay.
So I'm thinking, and just to sort of blend it together with Voyager, of course, because it's still going on, we would Admiral Paris would be a character. And so all those scenes that we have...
You're not selling Lieutenant Barclay as a regular. Don't try.
No, well, yeah, I guess you could be in there. That's fine. But I'm thinking mostly... and I don't want the whole show to focus on this, but I do think it should be a part of it, is the post-war stuff. I don't want it to... I know we just had Deep Space Nine, so I'm fine with... But I want to know how the treaty is hammered out.
The more you say, Daniel, the more I'm really liking this.
So... we can get into politics. We can get into like discussions about, we discovered this new anomaly from the USS Hood over here. What should we do? And then we're in the meeting room, where these people are having these conversations, like, how do we handle this and what do we do? I would like the idea of a new doctrine to be developed over the show, like to prevent something like what happened in Deep Space Nine from happening again. Like, maybe if there's a wormhole, like maybe if there's a wormhole, we don't go through it just with all willy-nilly, like without asking permission first or whatever. Not a prime directive.
It's like Earth first.
What about
we have problems at home? We don't need to go into weird wormholes.
Well, what about this? What about there's 2 competing doctrines? One is, hey, we need to be ready to fight our neighbors again if war happens. So we need to arm, we need to have like listening posts and space stations, and we need to gear up, because what if the Cardassians make another alliance with like some other, like basically they're worried about another block forming. And then the competing doctrine is like, hey, we just survived a war. We need peace. We need alliances. We need like, hey, let's maybe bring the Klingons fully into the Federation. Maybe like, so both are good, both have merit, but they're very different, ways of going about the problem of a secure continuation of the Federation, because the Federation just got rocked like by the Dominion War. It's a war like it's never seen before. But I really like that post-war flavor,
framing.
Daniel. Yeah. And then I also like the fact that it's technically 1999 2000 ish. So we can bring
fine.
Well,
everything's going real good right now.
What could possibly be around the corner?
That's not exactly what I was meaning. But
I'm joking, but that's a good. That's our headspace.
I was more
people
saying
don't remember the 99s or 2000s
that you can have TNG guest stars is what I mean. Like if you want Jonathan Frakes, because man, he loves showing up on other shows. He can show up. Patrick Stewart can. Anybody who wants to can for a moment, because they're at this point we're post-insurrection, pre-Nemesis. So the Enterprise E is zipping around. We're all wearing the the first contact uniforms, and I like that.
We're not changing the uniform for a new series because they love to do
whole
that.
7 years. The whole 7 years of just the first contact uniform.
No, I'd say. Well, I'd say
I like it, but I'm just saying that's what they would.
There's no reason to change it.
I'd say the standard Starfleet crew is in the DS9, uniform, but I'd say because it's Starfleet Command, I'd say the Admiralty has
Crazy
a more.
Well, they get new ones every time.
More flourish.
Everyone comes in as a new uniform.
Feathers.
Cloaks.
Oh man,
That'd be
Cloaks.
sweet.
Oh,
Admiral with a cloak. I'm just writing that down. Admiral with a cloak, and he's not necessarily the villain. He's more just the you again. It's going to be one of those
Is
episodes.
he like the cigarette smoking man from X-Files? It's the Admiral with the cloak. Just always in the corner of the room.
Admiral with a cloak. It's got to happen.
Well, I'm not saying to steal the series idea, but when you said Admiral Paris, what instantly came into my mind, and I know Darren's more the expert at this, but I was thinking at least the framing of how the main cast would look like was Stargate, because with Admiral Paris, I forget the character's names, Darren, but General what's his face,
General Hammond. Yeah,
who's like the loose. I mean, he's not the main character, but he's sort of as far as in the universe, kind of the in control. But then you have all the other characters. So Admiral Paris is not necessarily going to be in every episode, but that's sort of the framing of the organization. Of
right.
Starfleet.
He is our window. He is our character we know. A lot of stuff is going to happen around him. He's not the highest in Admiralty, but he's our anchor. It's not like here's a group of 10 new admirals and we don't know any of them. No, we need to know a couple of them.
We're going to see fleet captains. We're going to see commodores. Baby, you've heard these ranks. I've never seen them.
So it's like instead of lower decks where we're going below the main crew, we're doing
decks.
upper decks. These are
upper deckers. That's what they call them.
Oh, jeez.
I would love the show to establish and build these rules. Come out with I don't know, like you said, a dozen or so, a council. Don't call it a council, but you know what I mean.
There's already a Federation Council, Daniel. It exists.
A level
joint
of
chiefs, basically.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Right. So you have 10 people up above.
No arguing in here. This is the war room.
And then we deal with the staff below that or whatever.
Yeah.
And you.
Those are they're not lieutenants. They're commanders, but that's still a lieutenant level when you're all admirals.
Right.
Commanders
Your commanders
are still serving the coffee.
Right.
Yeah. They're still I'll get that report for you, sir.
And
You'll
then
get that command one day.
I'm carrying a stack of pads. Why? I don't know. I got to look busy. These could all be one pad. We all know it. I know it. You know it. Sorry, I didn't. You said.
No, it's okay. I think it's great. And we can actually build the rules for we can see the separation of how Earth is handled from on a civilian perspective, and then all of that sort of stuff.
Yeah.
We can world build all that sort of stuff where it's we can see the different levels of government, how everything is being handled, and that I think it'd be a lot of fun. You know what I mean? And we talked a little bit about the post-war stuff, and I like your idea, Darren. Give this the chief of security or whatever, Admiral Security dude. Give him the cautious sort of I want to have bigger teeth, but ultimately still wants the best. He doesn't have to be a villain. He's just at odds.
Because you have admirals like Admiral Ross, who is under arrest at this point, but there's still people who think like him, who feel Admiral Ross
from DS9.
Yeah,
why is he under arrest?
Because he started a coup and tried to take over.
Now, you're thinking another admiral. Admiral Ross is on DS9. That was Sisko's guy. I think you're thinking of Earth, the Earth Admiral, right?
Yeah,
that's a different guy.
Why am I?
I'm trying to remember.
No, you're right. No, you're right. I'm thinking of Paradise Lost, but why am I thinking the wrong? Ross. So that's right. Ross is good guy. Okay, I don't know why.
Yeah, sorry. Well, he's 31
I mean,
episode.
Shades of gray.
All admirals by definition.
Oh, well, we got to change that. That's got to be the point of this show, is to change that bad mantra. But I love the fact that you could have, Nechayev could be around. We see her. She's a known.
Shelby.
Yeah, she could. I mean, she's not going to be an admiral, but she could be like a character. On the
Admiral
rise.
Leighton.
She's
Admiral
the rise.
Leighton.
Leighton. Okay, so I don't know why I thought Ross, because it's because of Cisco, and if there's 9 out of 10 times he's with an admiral, it's Ross. So, you could have. I was going to say, I don't know why I can't remember the character's first name, but Ben Sisko's dad. He can. We're on Earth.
Mr. Cisco.
Yeah, Mr. Cisco.
Mr. Cisco.
I know he's got a better name than that. Cisco.
A better name? What is his name? Joseph?
I'm not calling him by his first name.
It's
Joseph?
Ben, it's Jake,
Joseph.
and it's Joseph. You're right. Okay.
Yeah,
But
we can see anybody on Earth. Like, I
yeah.
mean, like you said, this like allows us to see even Deep Space Nine characters, but could come through or whatever. I'm trying to think. Do we want to?
because I honestly would say, give this to Ira Stephen Bear and Ronald D. Moore. So we're having the same large nebulous cast format of DS9 where you have your principals, but you have a lot more like, we know Ben, we know Joseph Cisco, and we know the people in his restaurant. Like those are tangential characters at best, but like we actually get some fleshing out. Like we know what's going on in Louisiana in North America, whatever we call that, because
we find out. We could find out what whatever things are divided into.
Which
go to Paris a bunch, Starfleet.
From a casting standpoint, and I know we didn't do this because I'm looking at Enterprise, because basically we're nothing bad about Enterprise, but we're kind of getting rid of Enterprise for the moment. But as far
We're
as
delaying
casting,
Enterprise.
yeah, that a more international cast. I mean, this would be the opportunity for it. Sure. I mean, it's always going to be an American main character. I get it because of stuff. But anyway, this is like for Starfleet Command. Like, it's really an opportunity. I mean, not that we haven't. We have a fair number of UK people in DS9 and elsewhere. But like, this is to really open it up. Like France, let's have an actual French person, which I know we almost had for Voyager captain, or at least Canadian. But anyway, yes, like really kind of dig into like South American and and try to get it to like really give it that feel of international Earth.
Let's get an Aussie admiral.
Okay, I want to throw this out here because I don't think he's anywhere else in Trek, and I know it's a little.
We could double cast
a little West Wing-ish, but I want to cast
Martin Sheen.
No.
President?
I want.
He's Hispanic. I
want Jimmy Smits. As the president of the Federation.
Okay.
And it could be...
Is he human?
Yeah. Make him human.
Well, I'll give him blue skin.
But, well,
No, I get what you're saying. I know.
But I don't know. Because that's just the other thing. I mean, I'm not saying we have to cast this whole thing or figure out our main character.
Because it gives you the tone.
Because most likely our main character would be a new actor, because you could bring over other characters like Admiral Paris, but it's not like
Star Trek, not like a brand new guy that just got out of acting school.
Yes.
I mean, considering Scott Bakula was how the casting went for the next series,
Well, it would be a chance too for, I would say, most of the cast to be, at least the ones that we saw, like older people. You know what I mean? Like not older, but they're seasoned.
We're not going for the 20s.
Yeah,
they'll
not going for formal models.
Well, I was semi joking about West Wing ties in, but obviously political is a major aspect of this show. You're going to have aides. You're going to have like like we're going to learn about the Federation News Service. We're going to learn. Jake writes for them.
Yeah,
it's been established, and it's interesting because this kind of a show, it has the potential to flesh out a lot of things that we've heard of, but we've never seen. And I think that's what makes it really interesting.
Yeah. And to me, the interesting post-war scenario, because there'll have to be kind of a core pitch to this, which I don't have. But
what's your turbolift pitched?
I know exactly how to get there. It has to be a transport.
And I'm turning on my rocket boots. You got to go fast.
But it's like post-war, because we were so concerned, obviously, about winning the war. So much stuff has sort of been piling up on the table in the inbox, but it could be like exploration stuff, like there's an anomalies we have been looking at, or this new technology we didn't know about, or all the non-war stuff. And now you sort of have like, here you go, you should have two things. The exploratory science inbox, but then you also have the rebuilding the fleet, basically, inbox. And so you have that's where your sort of conflict can be between, we can have characters kind of representing both sides, or departments representing both sides,
right?
Having to come to Admiral Paris, who's going to get the most attention and resources, blah, 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 blah.
Yeah, and I like that thought of, obviously this is a post-scarcity society, but there's still resources. We still have only so many ships, and we have only and we've lost a lot of those resources. So yeah, I would like to see okay, we need to. Yeah, it's like, okay, hey, we're rebuilding ships, or we have our first new set of Ross class ships, which is actually a class, named after Admiral Ross that I misplaced on Earth. But, okay, so where are they going to go? And now, like you said, I'm sure our writers can make this interesting and not be like, a budget meeting talking about where the ships go. On paper, it sounds really boring, but
when
I'm
did
sure
episode 1 come out? Because this is sounding.
But yeah, I like the thought, and now obviously the writers are going to have to make a really good Bible of what is the the scarcity and how does the Federation work, because these are a lot of areas we're diving into that used to be hand waved, oh yeah, we're just not going to show how they deal with that. It's no, but we're actually going to have to show it now.
I feel like the pitch now, I think this is a Gene Roddenberry pitch where this is the pitch, but you lie about it. So the pitch is this, because this is 1990, blah, blah, blah. This is Star Trek beats West Wing. Now it's not going to be West Wing, but that's the concept of the
people can wrap their head around that.
Starfleet Command, we're walking the hallways of Starfleet Command now.
Yeah.
They're crawling on size.
Lots of where it's what kind of sets do you need? Well, we need a lot of hallways, and we need a lot of offices and
bars.
Some bars
where the business happens.
Maybe a shuttle bay or two, as you're getting ready for the presidential motorcade of shuttles. I don't know how that works.
What's the 24th century of golf? Where's the place where the business really happens?
And it's not that racquetball weird crap that we play. None of that. We
can invent something new. But
you know what it is? You know what it is? You go into some fancy little. It's bigger than a shuttlecraft, but it's a small ship. And you go asteroid shooting. So you go and you just shoot asteroids with your phasers.
You fly to the asteroid belt and you just peck away at a couple
manual targeting and stuff.
I can see a kind of to make this a little more.
So it actually has a skill based. That's actually not.
It can be a drone thing of where you put on whatever. I'm making this up. You can change it. Put on a helmet and then you suddenly have the perspective of the drone. And so you're now in the asteroid belt doing asteroid shooting, so it's not just big and bulky.
Yeah, I like
more fun.
Yeah, I like the manual targetingness of, and then it's a source of prestige where it's because we all know in Star Trek, that's what you're really trading. Your commodity is your skill and your reputation and your prestige. So yeah, so admirals, I like that where you have maybe Paris or another admiral, and they're bringing a commander or a intern around, and they're oh, I'm gonna go off for my 5:20 or sorry, military time 14:30 asteroid game, and again, that's not backroom deals, but that's where other admirals chat, and we're
networking.
They play. If we're outside Earth's gravity well, it doesn't count. We're able to, and it's all about manually shooting asteroids. Because that actually takes skill. Anyone can hit a button and phasers can lock on, but maybe you have to fire torpedoes, which is even more phasers. It's shoot. It's oh, constant stream of energy. Just gonna aim it over that way. Oh yeah, hit it. But because I like how we need a golf equivalent. That's hilarious.
Well, build your set. What's your new awesome set that we've never seen before? That's what we're gonna do.
Well, and, to speak on that for a second, I was always thinking that Promenade becoming, that's maybe that's not. That's because Starfleet Academy is in Paris, or sorry,
Academy.
Not the Academy. The command is in Paris, but I still
Federation's in Paris because Starfleet Command's still in San Francisco.
You're right.
Starfleet's all in. Well, I mean, let's rephrase what we have been shown so far. We can invent anything,
right?
But there can be auxiliaries.
Does Starfleet Academy and Starfleet Command share a campus?
Pretty much, I think.
Maybe they're adjacent, but they're both in San Francisco.
Okay.
I think I always got the feeling that the skyscraper buildings were Starfleet, and the like lawn campusy stuff was like the Academy.
Okay.
But they're probably like right next to each other.
That's like just not how we do it in the real world, though, right? Like you would go train at a base somewhere, but like the Pentagon would be like the
right. Well, you have Annapolis, but you don't have the Pentagon. It's not in
that far
Annapolis.
Away,
Well, yeah, I mean, they don't share a campus.
In the center of the Pentagon, we put a campus of school kids, totally safe.
I mean, there's a lot of bases in up Northern Virginia. So
all that I was going to say is I always thought of turning. And it could be something on Earth, but I always thought of turning the promenade into something on a starbase. Like I always liked the mushroom starbase design. There's that city cluster at the very top we never really focus in on that kind of has a Cloud City kind of vibe. I think we could do that.
What's Cloud City? Do you mean like the Yorktown? Is that what you're trying to say? Or?
Oh gosh, that snowball in the middle of space. Yeah, it's totally fragile.
No, that's the edge of space.
But anyway, I would like to have like visits to a starbase, and you're inside, and you're inside those little like wings that kind of stick out where all the ships dock, and you can see others. Like we have starbase shots are just really cool looking.
Well, and then, so what I was thinking was if you want to get like a classic Star Trek episode, right? Because we have 20 episods a season to play around with.
We have so many episodes.
Still the 90s.
You know how every couple of episodes, not that frequently, but at least twice a season or so, there is an admiral that comes on to like the Enterprise. You could just do that. You could just have one of the admirals have a reason to go to this planet. Here comes the ship that takes them, and you just
That's true.
go
Whenever
on that
the
adventure.
ships show up, they go to Spacedock. That's where they would go.
Yeah.
And I like that because then you kind of have three main locations. You have Federation headquarters, you have Starfleet headquarters / Academy, and you have Spacedock, which is like,
I like it.
And the Spacedock, because I always I remember seeing an article, like a Trek article someone wrote, because obviously we have the Spacedock like shipyards where you have like the big, superstructures and they're building the ships. And I remember seeing someone wrote about how cool would it be if like that was, or a lot of that, at least for like the maybe smaller than a Galaxy class, was done inside the space dock. So you saw all of the arms and building, and they're like cranking out new ships. So you're always seeing that happen in the background because, it's post-war and we have to revitalize the fleet.
That's utopia.
Maybe there could be. That's where they designed them. But yeah, I get what you're saying.
Well, they built the Enterprise there.
Look, we can't go to Mars. It's so far. takes like 5 minutes.
Guys,
don't have time.
It would be cool to go to that we've never been to. I say that. Well, not counting Enterprise, the moon.
Yeah, you could do the moon. Yeah, like Armstrong.
You could beam to the moon. There's no reason to go to the moon.
Armstrong City? Come on, Luna.
Maybe. Oh, okay. I love our asteroid golf, but what if it's literally just golf on the moon? So when they need to decompress, they just beam to the moon and like.
Are they in encounter?
They're in encounter at far. Yeah, they're in environmental suits, and they're just like boom, and it's like, hey, 2 kilometers, like. Beat that because I don't know.
Just watch the technology's a little bit better.
There's a little overlay in the screen so they can see it, like, and it's like got the little readout showing how far it's going.
That's our opening scene.
Yeah,
of our pilot.
golf
it's
on
like
the
Generations with like you just see this object spin closer. It's like what is it falling on it? It makes
and it says like Titleist 8.
Oh yeah, thank you.
Okay, yeah, golf on the moon. I love it. So 16G.
They would have little platforms that floated, and you have to get your golf ball onto the platform because the gravity's so low.
Or now that I'm thinking, I mean, you could either put them in a suit, or you could have a special, like kind of like Top Golf, where you hit it through a force field. So you're inside a pressurized area,
We're
and when
going
you hit
TOS. It's just a belt.
Oh
Or
man,
just a giant dome. You could just be in a giant dome that's pressurized. Well, actually,
that's a big dome for how far you're going to hit a ball in
Well, hang on.
1/6G.
Well, no, it goes out. The ball goes through the force
That's what I'm
field
saying.
or
It goes through the force field. Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
But hang on. Here's my question. When Riker's talking about Lake Armstrong and all that stuff, we're to assume that the moon's been entirely whatever it's called.
It's not Dyson sphered. It's still like a bunch of bases on the moon.
Rock.
But there's several million people living on the moon. Yeah.
Right.
No, but that's interesting, Daniel. I've never thought about it. Because my first thought would be just Dome City, that it hasn't been terraformed.
Right.
But you're saying it has, which I'm not disagreeing with.
I'm not saying either way.
Did they do like a small Genesis device?
We don't.
Yeah, I
know
was going to
enough.
say, I don't think you can. I mean, I know it's Star Trek, I know it's fiction, but like you can't terraform the moon. Like
Lake Armstrong.
It doesn't have.
Okay, but here's the thing: you were Mike.
They have seas. They have seas. They're called seas.
Right.
They're just not have water in them.
But no.
Sea of Tranquility does not have water.
Riker did not mention that. He said Lake Armstrong. So I'm just
Lakes have water in them. Seas on the moon don't, but lakes all have water in them.
Lunar lakes.
Sure. It's not the battle I'm going to fight. So
that
sure.
line is meant to conjure the image.
on the moon.
Oh gosh. Fishing and golf. It's just it's all where the admirals just hang out.
Wait. No. Hang on. Stop. Because when he says this, but we have to break down the scene right now. When he says you can see Lake Armstrong on a night like this, and they're looking at the moon, right? They are looking at so they can
Our telescope.
Right. So they can technically see Lake Armstrong, even if it doesn't have any water in it or whatever, right? So what Riker's saying is it's different in the future. You can see
there. You can see the
you
structures or whatever.
Are you saying on Earth?
on.
You'd be like, I can see my house from here.
Yeah, that's basically what he's saying.
Anyways, it doesn't matter.
No.
It's still fun. You can go to the moon and do whatever you want to do. That's fine.
Well, yeah. I mean, think of it this way: like when you look down at the night side of Earth, you can see a bunch of lights. So at a minimum, when you look at the moon, you would see like, there's obviously structures going on. Anyway, golfing on the moon. I love it.
I like how we spent like 30 minutes on golf, and it's like characters.
Oh no, but we've talked about like
I know.
We talked about the main structure and where it is. Now, obviously, the cool thing is we don't have to have a Defiant, quote unquote, like a ship that we're always on, because it could be the ship of the week that comes
ship.
by.
Honest to God, flagship.
It's just made of flags.
We could have the Enterprise E come by. Like,
that's right.
Why not?
Well, first episode obviously has to. But.
Right. Yeah. That'd be super cool.
Well, and it's post First Contact and Insurrection, so we have the CG one at this point. So we can do that.
Just leaving. That's the episode.
Bye.
Boy, it was sure good to see Captain Picard and Data and Worf
and crew.
Gosh, this is like Deadpool when he looks through the door at the X-Men and they just close it. It's just like, we're not going to give that to you. Oh, it's terrible.
But I was thinking too, like just like Day in the Life episodes, like where one of the admirals goes over and does the speech for the graduating class at the academy or whatever, or like there's a trip where everybody goes to Sydney, Australia, and we learn about the future of that stuff. Like, you know what I mean? Like just different things where you could just sort of build in
their
the
architecture looks like the Paris, like the Opera House. Every building looks like that now.
And I can see if you want to do the sort of trope, but it's a trope for a reason. If you want to do the new character introducing world, you could have maybe some battle-worn captain who's made Commodore, Rear Admiral, whatever rank we want to do for what your new admiral is. And so he or she
Admirals will be good, Commodores will be bad. That'll be the new mantra.
And so they're entering this world for the first time where, they saw it all. They're on the front lines of the Dominion War, and they saw, all the things.
They're finally sitting down at a desk,
Yeah. But it's like, I don't want to lean too heavily into this trope, but the trope of like, I saw it on the front lines and not you desk jockeys, and we know how it blah, 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 blah. I mean, I don't want to go too much into that, but there's at least a little bit of that you can do of like having seen all that, and now you're going back to the upper echelons where the decisions are made from the comfort of. No, I mean Earth was attacked. Let's not go too exaggeration here, but that sort of mentality of that person that could be our interdiction person.
You have PTSD. You have it's again a post-war is a really ripe for not conflict per se, but discussion. And I'd say that lens person, the person we're seeing things through in that regard, in that. Like I was talking about, there's a faction.
They're trying to put their belt on in the beginning. Like, I just feel stupid.
But there's a faction that's like, we need more alliances, and there's a faction that like we need more ships, and like they're obviously on the ladder. Like they're like, oh, we need to be, armed to the teeth. We need a new Mars defense perimeter. For
guys,
all.
That's gonna be like episode. How many episodes? 22. That's gonna be episode 6 at least. Mars. Yeah.
And someone's like, so what if they come in while Mars is on the other side of the solar system? Just a guess. Like how is that helping? Yeah.
And then like once a season, I think. Well, there'd be only for 3 seasons, or maybe twice. Then you have a team that's dedicated to the Voyager reclamation project, and we could check in on
Voyager.
them. Yeah. And, Barkley could be there, but he's not, other people would be there as well. We could sort of see sort of stuff like that as well.
I would love it. And like, it would just be like never commented on someplace in one of the sets, maybe Starfleet Command. You have a map and it moves with how much closer Voyager has gotten every episode.
That'd be cool.
Well, and, there could be even more tie-ins in the fact that in later seasons of Voyager, they have more contact with Starfleet Academy. They're literally talking to the other show now instead of just, a set.
Right.
So, that, and then you could, that actually makes the ending of Voyager really exciting because they're both coming to a point. Like, we know the mid-season finale or whatever of, Star Trek Starfleet Command is going to overlap with the end of Voyager, or whatever it does. It overlaps with Voyager arriving home.
But that makes me think, like Philip, when you were talking about the little map that has Voyager on it.
Yeah.
Like the episode before, it's like super far away, and then the episode after Endgame, it's just like, what? How did they just get here?
Or there's a little check mark next to it. Or something.
There's a
thumbs up.
It has a map, but there's like a percentage. It's like almost home. It's like 85%, and then also it's like 99%. It's like what happened?
They're coming. Yeah. They're on their way. They're here right now. Yeah.
Because I could see to really frame that a season finale, because presumably that's how it's going to be.
Right. Yeah. Dual finale.
You'd have Starfleet Command go first, where whatever story, blah 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 blah. But then at the end, we've resolved. We're fixed, and with this big adventure we had, and then suddenly, what is it, sir? Sector. It's the Borg. Assemble the fleet.
Oh, yeah, that's true.
Credits.
Yeah.
And that's when you go to Voyager.
I also like for fun, you could have some commander that's like, okay, so I know it's a couple decades off, but I've been planning what we do when Voyager gets home. And they're they're like, so Bob, we're going to need that report done now because so you don't have decades, you have 30 minutes because they're flying through the Golden Gate Bridge right now.
Spacedock doors are open.
Yeah.
And then after that, you could definitely have
like, that ship lands on the planet. Just clear off the South Lawn. Just put it right there.
Wait, are we getting 7 to join the cast in season 4? Just because?
No, we don't need 7.
No.
But Jamie could become or at least a regular guest.
Admiral
we could see her promotion, and then we can see her settle into her role, whatever that may be, and then we can see the protostar being developed.
Protostar, you could see new technology coming from Voyager. You could see it being decommissioned, basically, a lot of that. And that could give spice to season 4 of this new show. That kind of overlap with season 3 or 4 of this show would be around then.
who, if anyone,
and now you can add even more sets because you have even more places to put things.
And then they're going to be like, what if we did a prequel series?
But no, I like this Starfleet Command idea, though. As we were like throwing things out, like we really latched on to this one.
Golf.
Yeah. Well,
golf.
all right,
It's
before
all
we
about the golf. Wait, one last thing: is there a villain?
Is it going to be called
like who are the bad guys? Yeah.
Hey,
is it just the existential crisis of other?
They'll have to be.
Of
it doesn't have to be. There doesn't have to be like a series long sort of villain.
I mean,
who are the Russians? That's what I need to know. What species are the Russian analogs?
Post-war, to use like a World War II analogy, our allies no longer have a reason to be our allies. I mean, the Romulans.
Yeah, they're going to go back to being.
Yeah, they're going to go back.
Anyways.
Cardassians are rebuilding Cardassia. That's going to also be an aspect. Like they are.
That's more of like, I mean, because Cardassians now go from a. I don't know. I'm trying to not to like.
They were a world power, and now they're not.
Now they're. I mean, they go from a strategic threat to like a terrorist cell threat. Which is still a threat, but it's just a different scale.
You're right.
Yeah, there's lots of things that are obviously issues, but we don't have to have like it's not going to be like a, we found this magic box. And,
the Breen. I mean, if you really want to introduce someone,
Breen.
Yeah.
Well, and you can
how do we handle the Breen? Because they're actually in our side of the galaxy, and they only joined the war, at the very end. So
and they attacked Earth.
Yeah,
so people are probably still pissed off.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, and again, you can have delegations coming to to Earth. You could have I mean, that's the cool thing is I don't feel like this has to be a show where like you go to the planet, to the other species. Like everyone's coming to you, but that was also DS9 and that worked. You just have to write it well.
Do you think that they have a similar setup like in Battlestar? Not them, but I'm thinking the Changelings. Do you think they have to check in with Starfleet every couple of years to make sure that they're not
rearming,
building up forces and stuff, right? So they go to a neutral spot. So
a Changeling ambassador
Season 4, baby,
is also here.
Suddenly they're missing, or they don't show up, or they murder everybody at the. So I was just thinking,
maybe.
I mean, they would send the Vorta to be their ambassador.
You could even keep a. Cisco's office or some tiny corner of the DS9 set. So whenever you visit DS9, it's just CGI and then his office,
Colonel Kira.
Yeah, Colonel Kira.
All right. Well, that sounds like a lot of fun. And let's get in our time machine and see if we can pitch this to the people, the good fine folks that were running Star Trek at the time. But so anything else in closing you guys want to just touch on? Anything lastings? Lakes or otherwise?
Moon golf. That's all I'm going to say. Moon golf.
Great arcade game. We can make money from later.
If people want to find you and talk to you about your Starfleet politics, how do they find you?
They can find me on Instagram at CAPTSFUFP.
And Darren, what about you?
You can find me at drsci-fi.com, DRSCIFI.
And if folks want to know your handicap, Daniel, where can they find you?
I have my handicap. They can find me at 1 of 10. That's the number one, not the word. All right.
Hole in one?
That's it for. I think it's impossible on the moon. That'd be really difficult. But, anyways, that's it for this week. We will catch you all next time. I'm Daniel Prue.
I'm Philip Gilfus.
And I'm Darren Moser.
Stranded here on SETI Alpha